The fluorescent lights of the Cook County Clerk's office felt sterile, clinical. Chloe Mason looked at me, her eyes filled with an apology that was already wearing thin. Ethan, can we postpone the wedding? Just for 3 months. Before I could process it, she pressed a cashier's check into my hand. This is $500,000. Take it for now. I promised I'd help him fulfill his last wish. I glanced down at the check, then back up. She was already sliding into the passenger seat of a familiar black Mercedes. The window rolled down, and the man in the driver's seat gave me a faint, triumphant smile. It was her first love, Julian Vance. A clerk stuck his head out the door. You two getting a license or not? There's a line. My fingers tightened around the check, my knuckles turning white. Behind me, whispers started to curdle the air. Did the groom just get stood up? I heard the bride's high school sweetheart is on his deathbed. Wants to see her one last time. Wow, on their wedding day? Going to see an ex? I turned and walked out, the harsh Chicago sun stabbing in my eyes. My phone buzzed. A text from her mother, Eleanor. Ethan, I'm so sorry about this. You know Julian's situation. Just let Chloe be with him for his final moments. We'll cover any cost from the delay. I didn't reply. I couldn't. I had just opened Instagram. Chloe had posted a new picture, watching one last sunset with you. The photo was of her and Julian on the lakefront, their shadows melting together under the dying sun. The first like was from her mother, who had commented, "So glad you made it in time." Someone in the comments asked, "Aren't you getting married today?" Her best friend, Jessica, replied, "Some things are more important than a piece of paper." I closed the app and opened my contacts, dialing a number I hadn't called in 3 years. "Hello, Mr. Davis? It's Ethan Cole. I need a consultation on protecting my assets before a potential marriage." 3 months. Chloe said she'd be back to marry me in just 3 months. But standing in the cavernous living room of the Mason family's Lake Forest mansion for 3 minutes, I understood exactly what those 3 months meant. Her parents, Robert and Eleanor, were laughing with Julian Vance, the atmosphere as warm and comfortable as a family reunion. Chloe sat beside Julian, peeling an apple for him, her movements delicate and tender. "Ethan's here," Robert Mason said, his smile tightening slightly when he saw me. "Have a seat." I didn't sit. "I want to talk about the postponed wedding." The room fell silent. Chloe put down the paring knife and walked over to me, her voice a hush. "Ethan, don't make a scene." "A scene?" I laughed, a harsh, grating sound. "Chloe, you left me standing at City Hall for 2 hours. You call this me making a scene?" "I apologized," she said, her brow furrowing. "And I gave you the $500,000. The money." I threw the check onto the marble coffee table. "You think you could buy my dignity for $500,000? Crack. The sound of the slap echoed in the high-ceilinged room. Eleanor Mason stood over me, her hands still raised. "Don't you dare, Ethan Cole. If it wasn't for my daughter taking an interest in you, do you think an insurance salesman like you would be living in a waterfront condo, driving a 6-figure car?" She pointed at Julian. "Julian is sick. What's wrong with Chloe taking care of him for a few months? Can't you be a man and have a bigger heart?" I touched my cheek, a fiery sting spreading across my skin. "A bigger heart." I stared at her mother. "When your daughter was posting romantic pictures on Instagram, did she think about my feelings?" Chloe's face paled. "I just posted a photo." "Right, just a photo." I pulled out my phone and went to my camera roll. "Then what's this?" On the screen was the picture she'd posted last night. Julian said his biggest regret was never celebrating my birthday with me. Dream come true tonight. The photo showed a birthday cake, their silhouettes leaning in to blow out the candles. "Your birthday is March 20th, I said, my voice dangerously calm. "It's June. What year's birthday were you celebrating?" Silence again. Julian erupted into a violent coughing fit, so severe it sounded like he was trying to expel a lung. Chloe rushed to his side, patting his back. "Don't get worked up. The doctor said you can't have any emotional swings." "Enough." I cut her off. "Chloe, just answer one question. Are you going to marry me or not?" She looked up, her eyes red. "Ethan, Julian really doesn't have much time left. He has a whole bucket list of things he never got to do. I just want to be with him." "For how long?" "I don't know," she whispered, biting her lip. "Maybe 3 months, maybe 6. "And the wedding?" "After Julian is gone, we'll get married." I stared at her for a long, silent 10 seconds, then turned to leave. Eleanor's shriek followed me. "Ethan Cole, you get back here. What's this attitude? My daughter choosing you is the best thing that ever happened to you." I didn't look back. "Then she should find someone luckier." Outside the mansion, my driver, Kevin, was leaning against the car, smoking. He quickly stubbed it out when he saw me. "Back to the office, Mr. Cole." "The Grand Astoria Hotel." I pulled the car door open. "And take this suit to the dry cleaners. The wedding's off." Kevin froze for a second, but didn't dare ask any questions. Halfway to the city, my phone rang. It was Robert Mason. Ethan, don't be impulsive. This isn't easy for Chloe either. Julian was her first love. There's history there. I hung up. Then I blocked his number. The phone rang again. Eleanor. I didn't even look at the screen. Block. A third call came through. It was Chloe's best friend, Jessica. Ethan Cole, can't you have a little compassion for Chloe? Julian Vance is dying. What's the big deal about letting him have one last dream come true? Let me ask you something, I said, my voice cold as ice. If your fiancé postponed your wedding to help his dying ex-girlfriend fulfill her bucket list, how would you feel? That's different. Julian is sick. So being sick gives him a free pass to destroy someone else's marriage. I hung up and blocked her number too. The car pulled up to the Grand Astoria. I got out. Mr. Cole, Kevin called after me, his voice hesitant. What is it? Miss Mason. I mean, she's in a tough spot. First love is a complicated thing. Kevin, I cut him off. You've been with me for 3 years, right? Yes, sir. How would you describe my life these past 3 years? Kevin fell silent. He knew. For 3 years, I had been the Mason family's puppet. They wanted me in their company, I went. They wanted me to live in the condo they chose, I did. They wanted me to drive the car they picked out, I drove it. Even my social media posts had to be approved by Eleanor. Mr. Cole, Kevin said suddenly. I'm with you on this one. I clapped him on the shoulder and walked into the hotel. The woman at the front desk gave me a practiced, professional smile. Mr. Cole, will you still be needing the suite? Our honeymoon suite. We were supposed to check in today. Cancel it. I put the key card on the counter. Charge my account for any fees. Of course. She took the card, then leaned in, lowering her voice. Mr. Cole, about your suite. You had some visitors yesterday. My stomach tightened. Who? Your fiancé and another gentleman, she said, looking uncomfortable. They said they were here to check on the floral arrangements, so we let them up. They were in the room for about 2 hours. 2 hours. In my honeymoon suite. Chloe and Julian. Thank you. I turned and walked to the elevator. On the 18th floor, I opened the door to the suite. The room was immaculate, no trace of anyone having been there. But on the nightstand was a photograph. It was an old picture of Chloe and Julian, younger, their smiles wide and carefree. On the back, in elegant script, was a line of text. May we look back on these years and grow old together with deep love. I tore the photograph into tiny pieces and threw them in the trash. My phone rang again. This time it was Mr. Davis, my lawyer. Mr. Cole, I prepared the preliminary documents you requested. Given your situation, the primary concerns for protecting your premarital assets are... I cut him off. Mr. Davis, one more question. Go ahead. If, on the eve of a wedding, the bride postpones the ceremony to take care of her dying ex-boyfriend, could that be considered fraudulent inducement? The line was silent for a few seconds. Mr. Cole, are you experiencing this situation? Hypothetically. Then it would depend on the specifics, Mr. Davis said, his tone turning serious. If you could prove the bride had no genuine intention of marrying, but was merely trying to secure a financial gift or other assets, you could absolutely pursue legal action. I gave a $500,000 engagement gift. Then you need to be even more careful, the lawyer advised. Mr. Cole, I recommend you preserve all evidence. Bank transfers, text messages, screenshots of social media posts. If this does go to court, all of it will be crucial. After hanging up, I started scrolling through my texts. My conversation with Chloe had been pinned for 3 years. The last message was from me. I'll be waiting for you. She never replied. I scrolled up, back to the morning of our wedding day. Me. Chloe, I'm at City Hall. Her. I might be a little late. Can you wait? Me, of course. I can wait. Her. Ethan. If I can't make it today, will you be mad at me? At the time, I thought she was joking. I replied, silly, of course not. I'd wait a lifetime for you. Looking at it now, I realized she had already made her decision to leave me there. I kept scrolling. 3 months ago. Her. Ethan, Julian's back in the country. Me, oh, that's nice. Her. He's not doing well. The doctors say he might not make it through the year. Me. You should go see him. You two were classmates, after all. Her. You're the best. The best. At the time, I thought I was being magnanimous and understanding. Looking back, I was just a fool. My phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. Mr. Cole, this is Julian Vance. I apologize for taking up time that should have been yours. But I truly don't have long, and Chloe promised to see me through to the end. I hope you can understand. As compensation, I will be transferring my shares in my company to you. A small gesture for your trouble. Shares? I let out a bitter laugh. Did he think I needed his money? What I needed was my dignity. The basic dignity of a man. I replied, Mr. Vance, I don't need your shares. But please remember, Chloe Mason is my fiancée. She is now, and she will be in the future. After hitting send, I blocked his number 2. The night deepened. I stood at the floor-to-ceiling window, watching the endless stream of headlights below. 3 years. It had been 3 years since I met Chloe Mason. She'd been driving a Ferrari and had crashed into my e-scooter. Are you okay? She'd taken off her sunglasses, revealing a perfectly sculpted face. I'm fine. I gotten up, looking at my mangled scooter. How do we handle the damage? How much? She opened her wallet and pulled out a few $100 bills. Is this enough? More than enough, I'd said, taking the cash. Thanks. Wait. She'd stopped me. What's your name? Ethan Cole. I'm Chloe Mason. She smiled. Let's be friends. Just like that, I entered the orbit of the Mason family. Her father, Robert, was impressed with my business acumen and brought me into his company. Her mother, Eleanor, liked my quiet, dependable nature and deemed me suitable son-in-law material. And Chloe said she loved me. I believed her. Only a fool would have believed her. My phone rang again. This time, it was the VP of the company. Ethan, Mr. Mason just called. He said you're emotionally unstable and has asked me to take over your duties for a few days. What exactly did he say? That you need some time off for personal reasons. The VP's tone was thick with schadenfreude. Ethan, you're not really going to burn bridges with the Masons, are you? I didn't answer. I just hung up. Then I opened my email and composed my resignation letter. I sent it to Robert Mason, and I CC'd the entire company. 3 minutes later, my phone was ringing. It was Robert. Ethan Cole, have you lost your mind? No. My voice was calm. Mr. Mason, I appreciate the opportunities you've given me these past 3 years, but I believe our professional relationship has come to an end. You think you can find a job this good after leaving Mason Industries? He roared. You were an insurance salesman. I made you a general manager, and now you're quitting on me? That's because I'm good at what I do, I said. The company's profits have tripled in the last 3 years. You know perfectly well how much of that was my work. That was the platform Mason Industries gave you. If it was all the platform, then anyone should be able to replicate it, I said. Mr. Mason, let's part on amicable terms. Click. He slammed the phone down. Immediately, Eleanor's call came through. I answered. Ethan Cole, are you trying to ruin your life? Her voice was shrill. You dare to quit? Do you have any idea how easy it would be for me to make sure you never work in this city again? Go ahead, I said. I'm not planning on staying in this industry anyway. You? She was so furious she was sputtering. Fine. You've got nerve. Let's just see what you amount to without the Mason family backing you. She hung up. I tossed my phone onto the sofa and walked in the bathroom. Standing under the shower head, I let the cold water cascade over my body. I started to laugh. 3 years. For the first time in 3 years, I was finally myself again. I woke up the next morning to 93 missed calls. From a Masons, from colleagues, from friends. And one text message from Chloe. Ethan, are you insane? Why would you quit? Do you know what you're doing to your future? I stared at the message, then slowly typed a reply. Chloe, when you were helping Julian Vance fulfill his dreams, did you ever stop to think about what you were doing to mine? I hit send. A few seconds later, she was calling me. Ethan, can you just stop this? Chloe's voice was choked with tears. Julian is dying. The doctor said he has 3 months at most. Can't you just wait? I've waited for 3 years, I said. From the day we got together, I've been waiting for you to actually fall in love with me. Waiting for you to see me as your fiancé, not your backup plan. Backup plan? I never thought of you as a backup plan. Didn't you? I scoffed. Then tell me, how many times in the last 3 years have you canceled on me because of something to do with Julian? Silence on the other end. Can't remember? Let me help you. The first year, Julian got sick overseas. You flew to be with him, leaving me alone at the airport for what was supposed to be our first international trip together. The second year, he came back to the States for treatment. You spent every weekend at the hospital with him. We had to cancel 17 of our scheduled dates. In the third year, this year, he decided he wanted to convalesce somewhere quiet. So you move him into a house in your family's neighborhood, just a mile from our new home. I finished in a rush, breathing heavily. Chloe, you tell me you don't see me as a backup plan. Do you even believe that yourself? I just felt sorry for him. He's pitiful, but I'm not. I cut her off. On our wedding day, I waited at City Hall for 2 hours. Do you know how the clerks looked at me? They said, that poor groom getting stood up by his bride. I apologized to you. And if sorry fixed everything, we wouldn't need courts, I said. Chloe, I am officially informing you. We are breaking up. What? Her voice shot up an octave. Ethan Cole, say that again. I said, we're breaking up. I repeated, enunciating every word. From this moment on, you are you, and I am me. You can spend as much time with Julian Vance as you want. It has nothing to do with me. You wouldn't dare, she raged. Ethan, don't you forget, everything you have, the food you eat, the car you drive, the place you live, it all came from my family. You have a nerve to break up with me? Are you even worthy? Whether I am or not isn't your call to make, I said calmly. And since you brought it up, if everything I have came from the Masons, what about the value I created for your family's company? How much is that worth? She was stumped. $30 million. I answered for her. The team I led generated $30 million in profit from Mason Industries over the past 3 years. And what was my annual salary? $300,000. $900,000 over 3 years in exchange for $30 million. The Masons made a pretty good deal. You can't calculate it like that. Why not? I pressed. Chloe, let's stop pretending. Your father approved of me because he saw my potential and wanted me to work myself to the bone for his company. Isn't that right? No. Her voice trembled. I really did like you. Like me? I laughed. Then tell me, what's my birthday? Silence again. You don't know, do you? I said. Chloe, we've been together for 3 years, and you don't even know my birthday? You say you like me. Can you say that with a straight face? I just have a bad memory. Really? Do you remember Julian's birthday? She didn't say anything. June 15th, I said for her. You just posted about it on Instagram 2 days ago. Chloe, you know exactly who you're sincere with and who you're faking it with. Ethan, she was crying now. Why are you doing this to me? Why am I doing this to you? My voice turned to ice. When you were in my honeymoon suite with Julian Vance, what were you planning on doing to me? I wasn't, she desperately explained. We just want to look at the decorations. For 2 hours? I said. Chloe, do you think I'm an idiot? We really didn't do anything, she screamed, her voice raw. Ethan, you have to believe me. I don't. With that, I hung up the phone. Then I blocked her number. The phone fell silent. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. 3 years. It was finally over. The feeling was strange. It was like a heavy chain I'd been wearing for 3 years had suddenly been unshackled. I felt light, almost floaty, but there was also an emptiness. 3 years of a relationship. You can't just let it go that easily. But I knew if I didn't let go now, I would only sink deeper. My phone rang again. This time it was my mom. Honey, what's going on with you and Chloe? Her mother just called me. Said you two broke up? Yeah, we did. Why? My mom demanded. You were about to get married. What happened? Mom, it's a long story. I rubbed my temples. The short version is, we're not right for each other. It's for the best. What do you mean, not right? Her voice jumped. Honey, are you crazy? A girl like Chloe Mason from a wealthy family like that. Where are you ever going to find someone that good again? Mom, listen to me, she interrupted. Girls can be a little dramatic sometimes. You just have to be patient and sweet-talk her a little. Don't do anything rash. You'll regret losing a girl like that. Mom, she was about to go off and fulfill another man's dying wishes. What am I supposed to sweet-talk her about? So what if he's her first love? Mom said dismissively. First loves are always like that. It's in the past. Why are you being so petty? I was stunned. Even my own mother thought I was being petty. Mom, let me ask you something, I said, taking a deep breath. Back before you and Dad got married, if he had run off to be with his first love right before the wedding, what would you have done? That's completely different, she said. If your father had dared to do something like that, I would have broken his legs. Then why do I have to accept it? Because you're the man, she said, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Men are supposed to be generous. What's the big deal if a girl is a little impulsive once in a while? I laughed. It was a bitter, hollow sound. Mom, I'm tired. I'm hanging up. Honey, I ended the call. Then I turned off my phone. I needed some quiet. I needed to think about what to do next. I'd quit my job and ended my relationship. What now? I opened my laptop and started working on my resume. Halfway through, the doorbell rang. I looked through the peephole and saw Jessica, Chloe's best friend. I hesitated for a moment before opening the door. How can you be so cruel? Ethan, she demanded the second she saw me. Chloe is a complete mess, crying her eyes out. Don't you feel even a little bit bad for her? No, I said calmly. Is there anything else? If not, I'm closing the door. Wait. She pushed her way inside. Ethan, I came here to talk to you. Do you have any idea how much Chloe has sacrificed for you? No, I don't want to know. Do you know how many times she fought with her family for you? Jessica said. Her parents didn't approve of you at first. She was the one who insisted on being with you. Well, I appreciate that, I said. But she doesn't need to insist anymore. You. Jessica's face flushed with anger. Ethan, how can you be so ungrateful? Ungrateful? I scoffed. Jessica, let me ask you. If your fiancé postponed your wedding to go be with his first love, what would you do? That's different. How is it different? I cut her off. Is it because Chloe is a woman, so she gets a special privilege? Julian is dying. Jessica raised her voice. He wanted to see Chloe one last time before he died. What's so wrong with that? Nothing's wrong with that, I nodded. But he shouldn't have come looking for my fiancé. But Chloe couldn't stand to see him suffer. That's her problem, I said. If she couldn't let him go, why did she agree to be with me in the first place? And if she chose me, why is she still taking care of another man? Jessica was speechless. Jessica, go back and tell Chloe something for me, I said. It's over between us. She could do whatever she wants. I don't care. But I paused, my voice turning cold. The $500,000 gift and the profits I generated from Mason Industries over the past 3 years. I'll have my lawyer calculate what I'm owed. And I want every single penny. You. Jessica's eyes widened. Ethan, are you even human? At a time like this, all you can think about is money. What? The Masons don't want to pay. I smiled. Perfect. Then we'll see each other in court. You wouldn't dare. Watch me. I picked up my phone. Wanting to call Mr. Davis right now. Jessica was trembling with rage. She pointed a finger at me, spit out the word jerk, and stormed out. The door slammed shut. I leaned against it and closed my eyes. A jerk. Now I was the jerk. The irony was suffocating. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Mr. Davis. Mr. Cole, regarding the Mason family, I have prepared the lawsuit materials. We can file with the court as soon as you give the word. I replied, sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Then I went back to my laptop and continued working on my resume. By the time I finished, it was late. I saved the document and was about to head to bed when my phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. Mr. Cole, this is Julian Vance. Can we talk? I stared at the message for a good 10 seconds before replying. About what? Almost immediately, the phone rang. Mr. Cole, I know you must hate me right now. Julian's voice was weak, laced with a heavy nasal tone. But I wanted to explain. I don't need an explanation, I said. Mr. Vance, your time is precious. You should save it for Chloe. Mr. Cole, please, just hear me out, he said, followed by a few coughs. I know what I did was selfish, but I really don't have much time left. Chloe is the love of my life. I just want to see her a few more times before I die. That's your business, I said. It has nothing to do with me. But she's your fiancé. Ex-fiancé. I corrected him. Mr. Vance, Chloe and I have broken up. From now on, she could be with whoever she wants. I don't care. What? Julian was clearly stunned. You broke up. That's right, I said. So you don't have to feel guilty anymore. There was a long silence on the other end. So long I thought he'd hung up. Mr. Cole, he said suddenly. Actually, I'm not sick. I froze. What did you say? I thought I'd misheard him. I said, I'm not sick, Julian repeated, his voice tinged with a bitter edge. The terminal cancer, not having much time left. I made it all up. The hand holding my phone started to shake. Why would you do that? Because I wanted Chloe back, he said calmly. We were so in love, but her parents wouldn't let us be together after my family's business went bankrupt. I couldn't accept it, so I came up with this plan. I took a deep breath. Does Chloe know? No, he said. Mr. Cole, I'm not calling to ask for your forgiveness. I just wanted to tell you the truth, so you don't have any regrets. Regrets? I laughed coldly. What would I regret? Regret losing Chloe, he said. Mr. Cole, I can see that you genuinely love her. But I love her too, and I loved her first. So this time, I'm not willing to give her up. So you resort to these kinds of despicable tactics? Yes, he admitted without hesitation. For love, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I hung up the phone. My hand was shaking. My whole body was shaking. The frustration, the anger, the humiliation of the past 3 months erupted all at once. I grabbed my phone and dialed Chloe's number. It rang and rang. No answer. I called again. Still no answer. I sent a text. Julian isn't sick. He's lying to you. Message failed to send. She had blocked me. I used a different number to call her. This time, she picked up. Ethan, have you lost your mind? Her voice was weary. Why are you calling me this late? Julian isn't sick, I said, enunciating every word. He's lying to you. There was a brief silence on the other end. Then she laughed. Ethan, are you serious? Her laugh was dripping with sarcasm. You're so desperate to get me back that you'd make up something like this? I'm not crazy, I said. Julian told me himself, just now. He said he fabricated the whole terminal cancer story just to get you back. Impossible, she said flatly. Julian wouldn't lie to me. Chloe, wake up. I was practically shouting now. He's playing you. He's not sick at all. Enough, she yelled back. Ethan, can't you just let me be happy? Julian is dying, and you're still trying to slander him like this? Slander him? I laughed again. Chloe, go check his medical records. See if they're fake. I don't need to, she said. I trust Julian. You trust him? My heart sank to the bottom of my stomach. Then why don't you trust me? Because. She paused, her voice softening. Because Julian wouldn't lie to me. Click. The line went dead. I sat on the sofa, staring blankly at my phone. Because Julian wouldn't lie to me. The words were like a knife, twisting deep in my chest. So, in her heart, I was worth less than Julian. I opened my phone and found Mr. Davis's contact information. Mr. Davis, I've decided to sue. A moment later, he replied, Understood, Mr. Cole. I will file the papers with the court tomorrow morning. The next morning, I was woken by a frantic pounding on my door. I opened it to find Robert Mason. His face was livid. He stormed in, pointing a finger at me. Ethan Cole, have you no conscience? After everything my daughter has done for you, now you're going to sue her? Mr. Mason, I think you have that backward, I said calmly. Your daughter was the one who postponed our wedding to be with another man. I'm simply suing to reclaim what is rightfully mine. Is there a problem with that? What's rightfully yours? Robert sneered. Ethan, everything you've had for the past 3 years, the food, the car, the condo, which of it didn't come from my family? And now you have the audacity to call it yours. And what about the $30 million in profit I generated from Mason Industries? I retorted, did that come from you too? That was the platform. He slammed his hand on the table. Without Mason Industries, do you think an insurance salesman like you would be where you are today? And without me, would Mason Industries have seen those profits over the last 3 years? I shot back. Mr. Mason, we're both intelligent men. Let's not pretend. For 3 years, I dedicated my life to your company, and you paid me a salary of $300,000 a year. At market rate, I should have been making closer to $2 million. $2 million? Robert looked at me as if I told a joke. Ethan, why don't you just go rob a bank? Robbery is far less civilized. Mr. Mason, I'm trying to be reasonable with you, I said. Of course, if you'd prefer to have this conversation in a courtroom, I have no objection. You? Robert's face turned purple with rage. Fine, you just wait. I like to see what kind of trouble you can stir up. He slammed the door on his way out. 10 minutes later, I got a call from my lawyer. Mr. Cole, Mason Industries just sent over a legal notice. They're threatening to sue you for leaking trade secrets. Trade secrets? I scoffed. I didn't take a single piece of paper with me. What are they going to sue me with? It's a tactic, Mr. Davis said. Even if they can't win, they can make things difficult for you. But don't worry, I'll handle it. After hanging up, I started packing my things. The condo was bought by the Masons. I couldn't stay here any longer. My phone rang. It was my old college roommate, Mark. Ethan, I heard you and Chloe Mason broke up. Yeah. About damn time, he said. Dude, you know you've been living like a puppet for the past 3 years, right? I know. Need any help, he asked. My company is looking for a director of sales. Interested. What's the pay? $150,000 base, plus commission, he said. With your skills, you could easily clear $500,000 a year. I'm in, I said. When do I start? Whenever you want. How about tomorrow? I said. Today, I have to make a stop at the Mason's place. What for? To get my things back. At 2 in the afternoon, I drove up to the Mason mansion. The security guard at the gate stopped me. Mr. Cole, Mr. Mason said you're not allowed inside. Then please be so kind as to inform him, I said, that I'm here to pick up my personal belongings. The guard went to make the call and returned 5 minutes later. Mr. Mason says your things are by the gate. You can take them and go. I looked over and saw 2 cardboard boxes. I opened them. They were filled with clothes and toiletries. My laptop, my camera, my watch all gone. I have other things, I told the guard. Please inform him again. The guard looked uncomfortable. Mr. Cole, please don't make this difficult for me. Mr. Mason said this is everything. What about my laptop? A $3,000 MacBook Pro. Mr. Mason said it was company property. You have to return it since you resigned. My camera? He said Miss Mason gave it to you as a gift, and now she wants it back. I laughed. And the watch? Was that company property too? The guard fell silent. I took out my phone and called Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis, the Mason family is withholding my personal property. Is that illegal? Of course it is, he said. You can file a police report, or you can sue. Let's sue, I said. Add it to the list. I was about to turn and leave when the front door of the mansion opened. Chloe ran out and stood in front of me. Ethan, do you really have to do this? Her eyes were red. We were in love for 3 years. Doesn't that mean anything to you? In love. I looked at her. Chloe, are you sure what we had was love? Of course it was, she said urgently. I genuinely loved you. Then tell me this. I pointed to the mansion behind her. Why is Julian Vance living here? Because. Because he needs to be taken care of. He needs to be taken care of, so you move him into your family home? I cut her off. Chloe, this is your parents' house, not yours. Did they approve of this? She didn't answer. They didn't just approve, they were thrilled, weren't they? I said with a cold smile. Because Julian's family used to be wealthy. Even though they're bankrupt now, they still have connections. With the right investment, they can make a comeback in no time. You? How did you know? A lucky guess, I said. Otherwise, why would your parents be so eager to help him? So eager that they'd let you postpone your own wedding? Chloe's face went white. Chloe, you know what? I sighed. I should have figured it out sooner. Your parents agreed to let us be together not because they liked me, but because I was easy to control. That's not true. Yes, it is, I said. I have no background, no connections, and no family money. They give me a few perks, and I'll work my heart out for their company. In 3 years, I generated $30 million in profit for them, and they only paid me $900,000. It was a fantastic deal. Ethan. But now Julian is back, and things are different. I continued. Julian has connections and resources. If they invest in him, Mason Industries could reach a new level. Compared to him, a simple employee like me is disposable. That's why your parents have been so eager to push you and Julian together, I said, looking straight at her. So eager that they'd let you postpone your wedding to me. Chloe was trembling. No, it's not like that. Then what is it like? I asked. Tell me, why would your parents agree to let Julian live here? Why would they support you in taking care of him? She opened her mouth, but couldn't say a word. You can't answer, can you? I said, because even you know it's the truth. Ethan. She burst into tears. I admit, my parents might have had that idea, but I didn't. I genuinely just wanted to be with Julian for his final moments. Final moments. I scoffed. Do you even know that Julian isn't sick at all? Here we go again. She wiped her tears. Ethan, can you please stop saying things like that? Are you willing to go to the hospital with me to find out? I challenged her. Right now. Let's go to the hospital together and have the doctors run a full checkup on Julian. If he's really terminally ill, I will get on my knees and apologize to you right here. But if he's not sick, you come back with me, and we start over. Chloe hesitated. What's the matter? I said sarcastically. Scared to go. It's not that. She bit her lip. I just don't think it's necessary. We have his medical records, the doctor's diagnosis. What's there to check? Those can all be faked, I said. The only thing that's real is an in-person examination. Enough, she suddenly snapped. Ethan, how long are you going to keep this up? I'm not making a scene, I said calmly. I just want you to see reality. What reality? The reality that Julian isn't sick, I said, and the reality that your parents are using you. Shut up. She covered her ears. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Looking at her, I suddenly found the whole situation laughable. Fine. You don't want to listen, I said. Then I'm leaving. Remember to return my things, or I'll see you in court. I turned and walked toward my car. Wait. Chloe ran after me. Ethan, are you really going to sue us? Yes. Over a little bit of money, you're going to make things this ugly? It's not about the money, I said. It's about my dignity. What dignity? She didn't understand. You're a man. Why are you getting worked up over these little things with a woman? I stopped and turned to face her. Chloe, do you really not get it? I said. For the past 3 years, I've lived like a dog. Whatever your parents wanted me to do, I did. Wherever you wanted me to go, I went. I had no life of my own, no friends of my own. I couldn't even celebrate my own birthday. That's because you had to focus on your career. Focus on my career? I cut her off. Then why did I have to drop everything to be with you on your birthday? Why did I have to spend a month preparing gifts for your parents' birthdays? Why did I have to go with you to the airport to pick up Julian when he came back? Well, isn't that what you're supposed to do? In your eyes, that's what I'm supposed to do, I said. Because in your heart, I'm just a tool. Someone to be used when you need me and thrown aside when you don't. I didn't. You did, I said. Chloe, for 3 years, I kept lying to myself, telling myself that you loved me and that all of this was worth it. But now I finally understand. I was just an option for you, an option that could be replaced at any time. No, Ethan, listen to me. There's nothing left to say. I got into my car and rolled down the window. Chloe, I wish you and Julian a happy life together. I stepped on the gas, and the car sped away. In the rearview mirror, Chloe stood alone, looking small and insignificant. 3 years of my life, over just like that. I didn't feel as sad as I thought I would. Instead, I felt a sense of relief. My new job was a perfect fit. Mark's company was an import-export, and I took over the sales department. With the experience I'd gained over 3 years at Mason Industries, I hit the ground running. In the first month, I closed 2 major deals, bringing in over $50,000 in commissions. Mark was thrilled and took me out to celebrate. Ethan, I knew you had it in you. He raised his glass. To new life. To new life. After a few drinks, he leaned in. By the way, have you heard? The Masons are in deep trouble. My stomach tightened. What kind of trouble? I heard that project of Julian's went belly up. The Masons invested $5 million, and it's all gone, he said. Now Robert Mason is scrambling to borrow money to cover the hole. $5 million. I was surprised. Julian's project needed that much. It wasn't one project, Mark said. It was several. $5 million total. He promised a return in 3 months, but they lost everything. I picked up my glass and drained it. They deserved it. And it gets juicier, Mark said, lowering his voice. I heard Julian wasn't even sick. He faked the whole thing. My hand trembled, nearly dropping my glass. You? How do you know? I have a friend at the hospital, he said. A few days ago, Chloe Mason brought Julian in for a checkup. The doctor told her he was perfectly healthy, not a thing wrong with him. And then Chloe completely lost it. Had a massive meltdown right there in the hospital. Mark said, shaking his head. The story is all over town now. The Masons are a total laughingstock. I didn't say anything. I knew this day would come, but hearing it still stirred a complicated mix of feelings inside me. Ethan, you're not going soft on her, are you? Mark watched me closely. Don't do it, man. That woman isn't worth it. I know, I said. I won't. But even as I said it, I didn't quite believe it myself. 3 years of a relationship. How could I just let it go completely? The next day, I was in my office when my secretary knocked. Mr. Cole, there's a Miss Mason here to see you. My heart sank. Send her in. The door opened, and Chloe walked in. She had lost a lot of weight, and her face was pale and drawn. Ethan, she began, her voice hoarse. Sit down. I pointed to the sofa. Can I get you something to drink? No, thank you. She sat, wringing her hands. Ethan, I'm sorry. Sorry for what? I poured her a glass of water. For postponing the wedding, or for not believing me? For everything, she said, taking the glass but not drinking. Ethan, you were right. Julian, he lied to me. I know, I said. I heard you took him to the hospital. Yes. She looked down, a tear splashing into the water. The doctor said he was perfectly healthy. The diagnostic reports were all fake. And then I confronted him, asked him why he would lie to me, she said, her voice choked with sobs. He said he loved me and wanted me back. And you believed him? No. She looked up, her eyes red and swollen. I told him to get out of my life, that I never wanted to see him again. I nodded but said nothing. Ethan, I was wrong. She suddenly dropped to her knees in front of me. I shouldn't have doubted you. I shouldn't have postponed our wedding for him. Can you forgive me? Get up. I helped her to her feet. Chloe, you didn't do anything wrong. I did. No, you didn't, I interrupted. You just made the choice you thought was right at the time. Then can you forgive me? She asked, clutching my hand. Ethan, can we please start over? I looked at her, silent for a long moment. Chloe, let me ask you a question, I said. If Julian had been genuinely dying, would you still have chosen to be with him? She froze. See? You can't even answer that question, I said with a faint smile. That tells me that in your heart, Julian will always be more important than me. That's not true. Yes, it is, I said. Chloe, I don't blame you. Everyone has that one person they can't let go of. It's just unfortunate that for you, that person isn't me. Ethan. So we can't start over. I gently removed her hand from mine. I'm sorry. Why? She cried. Ethan, I truly know I was wrong. I promise it will never happen again. Can't you just give me one more chance? No. I turned away, not wanting to see her cry. Chloe, a relationship isn't something you can just fix by saying you're sorry. Then what do you want me to do? She pleaded, her voice cracking. Ethan, tell me, what can I do to make you forgive me? There's nothing you can do, I said, because I don't love you anymore. The words hung in the air, surprising even me. I don't love her anymore. Do I really not love her anymore? I asked myself, and I realized it was true. From the moment she chose Julian over me, the love had died. You're lying? Chloe shook her head. You're lying? You still love me. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been so angry. You wouldn't have broken up with me. That was about pride, I said. Pride from being lied to, from being used, from seeing 3 years of my life wasted. But it wasn't love. No. She sank to the floor. It's not like that. I walked to my desk, opened a drawer, and took out a file. This is the lawsuit my lawyer prepared, I said. The $500,000 gift, plus the compensation I'm owed for my work, comes to a total of $2.5 million. What? She looked up, her eyes wide with disbelief. I was going to file it, I said. But for the sake of the 3 years we had, I'll give you a chance. What chance? Pay me back within 1 month, I said. Once the money is transferred, we're even. If you can't, then I'll see you in court. 2.5 million. She whispered. Ethan, do you have any idea what my family situation is right now? Julian scammed us out of 5 million. My father can't get a loan from anyone. That's not my problem. I cut her off. Chloe, I've already been more than generous. But, no buts, I said. Either pay the money, or we go to court. Your choice. She stared at me, her eyes filled with despair. Ethan, are you really this heartless? Heartless. I laughed. Who was heartless first? She couldn't answer. Chloe, you know perfectly well how good I was to you for the past 3 years, I said. But how did you treat me? In your world, I always came last. Your parents were first, your friends were second, Julian was third. What did I rank? Fourth? Fifth? Forget it. It doesn't matter anymore. I sat back down in my chair. You can go. I expect to see the money in 1 month. She stood up slowly, her eyes burning with resentment. Ethan Cole, you're going to regret this, she said, then turned and left. The door closed, and the office was quiet again. I leaned back in my chair and closed my eyes. Would I regret it? I asked myself. Probably not. 1 month passed quickly. I was thriving at the new company, closing several major deals one after another. My commissions were already close to $200,000. Mark was impressed and promoted me to vice president. Ethan, stick with me, and I guarantee you'll be able to afford a penthouse in 3 years, he said, clapping me on the shoulder. Then you can find a good woman and forget all about girls like Chloe Mason. Already have, I said. It was the truth. I had been so busy this past month, I hadn't had time to think about her. The few times she did cross my mind, it was only with a sense of bitter irony. 3 years of my life, all for a lie. By the way, any news from Masons? Mark asked. Nothing, I said. I guess they can't come up with the money. So you're really going to sue? Of course, I said. I'm a man of principle. You owe a debt, you pay it. Simple as that. Just as I said it, my secretary knocked. Mr. Cole, Mr. Davis is on the line. He says it's urgent. I picked up the phone. Mr. Davis, Mr. Cole, the Masons just paid, the lawyer said. $2.5 million, every single penny. I was stunned. So soon. Yes, I was surprised too, he said. The funds have cleared. You can check your account. I logged it to my online banking. The balance was indeed $2,500 higher. Wait, no, $2.5 million higher. Got it. Thank you, Mr. Davis. After hanging up, I sat in my chair dazed. $2.5 million. The Masons had actually come up with it. How do they manage that? My phone rang. An unknown number. I answered. Hello. Ethan, it's me. It was Chloe's voice. What is it? We paid the money, she said. From now on, we're even. Okay. And she hesitated. My dad said he'll have someone buy back your shares in Mason Industries. He'll pay market price. Is that okay with you? Shares? I had completely forgotten about them. To keep me on board, Robert Mason had given me 5% of the company's stock. At the current valuation, it was worth about $500,000. Fine, I said. When can we do the paperwork? Anytime. Let's do it tomorrow. Okay. She was quiet for a few seconds, then asked, Ethan, are you doing well? Very well. That's good. Her voice was thick with unshed tears. Ethan, I'm sorry. You don't need to apologize, I said. I should be thanking you for helping me see things more clearly. You? She choked on a sob. You really don't love me at all anymore? No, I don't believe you, she said. Ethan, I know you still love me. Otherwise, you wouldn't have demanded the money. You would have just sued us. You're overthinking it, I said. I wanted the money because it was mine. No, enough. I cut her off. Chloe, let the past be the past. You have her life, I have mine. From now on, we're strangers. Ethan, I hung up the phone, then I blocked the number. The next day, I went to the Mason Industries headquarters. Robert Mason met me himself, his demeanor surprisingly cordial. Ethan, you're here. He smiled and handed me a document. This is the share transfer agreement. Take a look, see if everything is in order. I read through the document carefully. $500,000, market price. It was correct. It's fine. I sign my name. Mr. Mason, it was a pleasure doing business with you. Pleasure doing business with you. Robert signed as well, then handed me a check. This is for the shares. I took the check and was about to leave. Ethan, wait a second, Robert called out. Can we talk for a minute? What about? Do you hate me? He asked unexpectedly. I paused. Why do you ask? Because I used you. Robert sighed. When I first asked Chloe to get close to you, it was because I saw your talent. I wanted to cultivate a compliant son-in-law who would dedicate his life to Mason Industries. I know, I said. So now I deeply regret it, he said. Ethan, you're a brilliant man. If I had treated you with sincerity from the beginning, maybe Mason Industries wouldn't be in the state it's in today. Mr. Mason, let's not dwell on the past, I said. You gave me a great opportunity, and I learned a lot over the past 3 years. Let's call it even. Even? Robert gave a bitter smile. Yes, I suppose we are. He paused, then added, Ethan, do you know how we came up with that $2.5 million? I shook my head. We sold 3 properties, a car, and all of Chloe's mother's jewelry, he said. Chloe gave every cent of her savings and borrowed millions from her friends. My stomach tightened, but I kept my expression neutral. You owed it to me. Yes, we did, he said. Ethan, the truth is, Chloe really does love you. Mr. Mason, please don't. I interrupted. Matters of the heart are never that simple. You're right. He sighed. Well, I wish you the best. You're a young man with a bright future. I nodded and turned to leave. Walking out of the Mason Industries tower, the sunlight was blinding. I stood at the entrance, watching the crowds of people pass by. I had fought and bled for this place for 3 years. But as of today, it was no longer a part of my life. My phone rang. It was Mark. Ethan, we have a dinner with a client tonight. They specifically asked for you. Okay, what time? 7, at the Grand Astoria. Got it. I hung up and got in the car. Kevin was still my driver. He had come with me to the new company. Where to Mr. Cole. Back to the office. Halfway there, I suddenly said, Kevin, pull over. Is everything okay? Yeah, I just want to walk for a bit. I got out and stood on the street corner. This was where Chloe and I had our first date. She had worn a white dress that day, her smile radiant. Ethan, do you think we'll be together forever? I do. But in the end, we weren't. I stood there for a moment longer, then turned and walked away. Some people, some memories, can only exist in the past. At 7 that evening, I arrived at the Grand Astoria 10 minutes early. I straightened my suit and walked into the private dining room. Several people were already there, all heavy hitters in the industry. Mr. Cole, you're here. Mark stood up to make introductions. This is Mr. Harrison from Titan Group. This is... I shook hands with each of them, finally taking a seat next to Mark. Mr. Cole, so young and already so accomplished. Mr. Harrison said, raising his glass. Mark tells me you've closed several major deals this month alone. Just lucky, I said modestly. Luck. Mr. Harrison laughed. You're too humble. In our business, you can't get by on luck alone. You're right about that, Mr. Harrison. I raised my glass. Then I'll take that as a good omen and hope for your continued support in the future. Absolutely. After a few rounds of drinks, the atmosphere warmed up. Mr. Harrison suddenly said, by the way, Mr. Cole, I heard about what happened with you and the Masons. My hand, holding my glass, froze for a fraction of a second. You have an excellent network, Mr. Harrison. It's a small world, he said, but you handled it beautifully. Took what you were owed, let go of the rest. Clean and decisive. You flatter me. It's not flattery, Mr. Harrison said seriously. Ethan, I admire you. As it happens, my company is looking to expand into a new market, and we need a partner. Are you interested? Mark kicked me under the table. I knew what he meant. This was a huge opportunity. Of course, I'm interested, I said. What kind of partnership did you have in mind? Simple, Mr. Harrison said. I provide the capital, you provide the network and expertise. We split the profits 50-50. How much capital are we talking about? $2 million to start, with more as needed, he said. Conservatively, I estimate we can clear $5 million in the first year. $5 million. A 50-50 split meant I'd make $2.5 million. Combined with my commissions and the buyout from the Masons, I'd have over $3 million in capital. Mr. Harrison, could you give me a few days to think it over? I asked. Of course, he said readily. Ethan, I have a good feeling about you. After the dinner, Mark drove me home. Ethan, this is a golden opportunity, he said. Harrison is a big name in this industry. Partnering with him could take your career to a whole new level. I know, I said, but I want to explore my options. What options? Mark was confused. Opportunities like this don't come along every day. I want to see if there are even better options out there. Mark laughed. You're an ambitious one, aren't you? It's not ambition, I said. I just want to make sure I'm choosing the right path for myself. Back at my apartment, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. $3 million. 3 years ago, I couldn't even have dreamed of a number that big. But now it was my reality. My phone buzzed. It was a text message from an unknown number. Ethan, it's Chloe. Can we meet? Just one last time. I stared at the message, hesitating for a long time. Finally, I replied. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. Starbucks. The moment I hit send, I regretted it. Why did I agree to see her? We had agreed to be strangers. But then I thought, maybe this was what I needed to finally close this chapter of my life. The next afternoon, I arrived at Starbucks early. I ordered a black coffee and sat by the window. At exactly 3 o'clock, Chloe walked in. She was shockingly thin, her face pale, with dark circles under her eyes. Ethan. She sat down, her voice barely a whisper. Want something to drink? I asked. No, thank you. She shook her head. I just want to say a few things and then I'll go. Go ahead. Ethan, thank you, she said, looking at me, her eyes filled with remorse. Thank you for how good you were to me these past 3 years, and thank you for not suing us in the end. Don't thank me. You paid what you owe. I know, she said. Ethan, I actually came here today to tell you something. What is it? Julian was arrested, she said calmly. Fraud. He was sentenced to 10 years. I was stunned. When did this happen? Last week, she said. He didn't just scam my family. There were several other investors. The total was almost $10 million. 10 million. I was speechless. Yes, 10 million, she said with a bitter smile. Ethan, I was such a fool, wasn't I? He lied to me, and I defended him. I almost lost you because of it. Let's not talk about the past, I said. No, I have to, she said, suddenly agitated. Ethan, I need to make this clear. From beginning to end, the person I loved was you. Chloe, let me finish, she interrupted. Julian was my first love, that's true. But that was just a teenage crush. I truly fell in love with you after we got together. Every time you went on a business trip, you bring me back a gift. You remembered all my favorite things. You'd stay up all night taking care of me when I was sick. She was crying now. Ethan, all those little moments. I remember every single one. Then why did you still choose him? I asked. Because I thought he was dying, she said. Ethan, I just wanted to be with him before he died, to make up for the past. I never imagined he was lying to me. And if he really had been dying, I asked, would you come back to me? She froze. See? You can't answer, I said. Chloe, that's the problem between us. In your heart, I'll never measure up to him. That's not true. Yes, it is, I said. Chloe, we're over. You need to let go. I can't, she said, looking at me, her eyes filled with despair. Ethan, can you please just give me one more chance? I promise I'll treasure you. I can't. I stood up. Chloe, some mistakes can't be undone. You can't go back. Ethan, take care of yourself. I picked up my jacket. Goodbye. Walking out of the coffee shop, the sun was blinding. I stood at the entrance and took a deep breath. This time, it was really over. My phone rang. It was Mr. Harrison. Ethan, what's your decision? Mr. Harrison, I'm in, I said. When do we sign the contract? Excellent, he said, his voice booming with excitement. Let's do it tomorrow. I'll have my legal team draw up the papers. Perfect. I hung up and looked up at the sky. A new beginning starting now. The contract was signed without a hitch. Mr. Harrison was a man of his word, wiring the $2 million into the new company's account that same day. Mark and I each held a 30% stake with Mr. Harrison holding 40. We named the company Horizon Trading, a symbol of new beginnings. Ethan, I have high hopes for you, Mr. Harrison said, clapping me on the shoulder. Work hard, and I'll make you a millionaire many times over in 3 years. Thank you, Mr. Harrison. On our first day of business, I took my team to visit several key clients. Using the network I had built at Mason Industries, I quickly secured 2 orders. The combined profit was over $300,000. Mr. Cole, you're amazing, one of the junior associates on my team said, her eyes wide with excitement. A huge order on our very first day. This is just the beginning, I said. Our goal is to hit 20 million in revenue within a year. 20 million. Everyone was stunned. What? You think it's impossible? I smiled. If we all work together, nothing is impossible. For the next 3 months, I worked almost around the clock. I was at the office by 7 in the morning and didn't leave until 11 at night. I didn't take weekends off. I was either meeting with clients or on my way to meet with clients. Mark couldn't take it anymore. Ethan, you're trying to kill yourself. Got to hustle while I'm young, I said. This isn't hustling. This is a death wish, he said. You've lost 15 pounds this month. If you keep this up, you're going to collapse. I'm fine. I know my limits. Know your limits? He pointed to the dark circles under my eyes. Look at yourself. You look like a ghost. I glanced in a mirror and had to admit he was right. Okay, I'll cut back on the overtime. It's not about the overtime, Mark said. Ethan, are you still thinking about Chloe Mason? No. Then why are you working yourself to death? He said. It's obvious you're running from something. I'm not running, I said. I'm just trying to prove myself. Prove what? That you can succeed without the Masons. Mark sighed. Ethan, you've already succeeded. 3 million in profit in 3 months. Your name is the talk of the industry. 3 million isn't enough, I said. I want to hit 20. And then what? He asked. After you hit 20 million, what are you going to do? I was stumped. He was right. After I hit 20 million, What was I going to do? Forget it, Mark said, clapping me on the shoulder. I'm putting together a get-together tonight. A few friends want to meet you. What friends? Industry people, he said. And by the way, there'll be a few single, beautiful women there. I'm not going. You have to, Mark said, his tone leaving no room for argument. Ethan, you can't just lock yourself away because of Chloe. It's time to start a new life. That night, Mark dragged me to a bar. The private room was, as promised, filled with several beautiful women, all impeccably dressed. Everyone, let me make an introduction, Mark said, pulling me forward. This is Ethan Cole, my partner and the general manager of Horizon Trading. Nice to meet you, Ethan, the women chorused. Nice to meet you all, I said with a polite nod. Mr. Cole, I heard you did $3 million in profit in just 3 months, a woman in a red dress said, leaning in close. Can you teach me your secrets? No secrets. Just meet with a lot of clients. Then can you take me under your wing? She said, batting her eyelashes. I'm new to the industry. There's so much I don't know. Well, I hesitated. Ethan, Maya is my cousin, Mark said. She just graduated from college and wants to learn from the best. All right, then, I agreed. For the rest of the evening, Maya stuck to my side, peppering me with questions. Mr. Cole, how do you handle negotiations? Mr. Cole, what do you do with difficult clients? Mr. Cole, what do you do after work? I answered each question, but my mind was elsewhere. Because I had just seen Chloe. She was sitting in a dark corner of the bar, drinking alone. Her hair was a mess, her makeup was smudged, and she looked utterly defeated. Ethan, what are you looking at? Mark followed my gaze. Whoa, isn't that Chloe Mason? Yeah. What's she doing here? Mark frowned. She doesn't look so good. It's none of our business, I said, tearing my eyes away. Let's keep drinking. But I found I couldn't swallow another drop. My mind was filled with the image of Chloe. Why was she here? Why was she drinking so much? Had something happened to her? Mr. Cole, are you okay? Maya asked with concern. Are you not feeling well? I'm fine, I said, standing up. I'm just going to use the restroom. I walked out of the room and, as if pulled by an invisible force, made my way to Chloe's table. She was still drinking, one glass after another, as if trying to drown herself in alcohol. Chloe, I said, stepping up to her table. She looked up, her eyes glazed over. Ethan, what are you doing here? Drinking, she said with a desolate laugh. Ethan, did you know? My family is bankrupt. What? It's true, she nodded. My father got dragged down with Julian, and now he's drowning in debt. The creditors come to our house every day. We can't even go home anymore. I was silent. Ethan, I have so many regrets, she cried. If I had just listened to you, if I had just stayed away from Julian, maybe none of this would have happened. Chloe, you're drunk, I said, helping her to her feet. I'll take you home. I don't want to go home, she struggled. I don't have a home anymore. Then where do you want to go? I don't know, she said, looking at me. Ethan, can you let me stay with you for one night? Just one night. I hesitated. My rational mind screamed at me to say no. But looking at her like this, I couldn't bring myself to do it. Let's go, I sighed. You can stay at my place. Back in my apartment, Chloe collapsed onto the sofa the moment we walked in. Ethan, do you have anything to eat? I'm starving. I checked the fridge. All I had were a few packs of instant ramen. This is all I've got, I said. I can order takeout if you want. No, ramen is fine. I cooked 2 bowls of noodles, one for her and one for myself. She ate ravenously, as if she hadn't had a meal in days. Slow down, I said, handing her a napkin. You'll burn yourself. Thanks. She took the napkin and suddenly burst into tears. Ethan, you're still so good to me. Don't cry, I said. Finish up and get some rest. You have to work tomorrow. I don't have a job anymore, she said. The company went under. I was laid off. Then find a new one. No one will hire me, she said with a bitter smile. They all say I'm the spoiled rich girl from the Mason family. Overprivileged and underskilled. I didn't know what to say. Ethan, can you help me? She suddenly grabbed my hand. I'm at the end of my rope. How can I help you? Let me work at your company, she said. I'll do anything. I can serve tea, run errands, anything. I looked at her, my heart a tangled mess of emotions. All right, I said. Come to the office with me tomorrow. I'll find a position for you. Really? Her eyes lit up. Ethan, thank you. Don't thank me. I said, this is just a job. You'll have to earn your own keep. I will, she nodded vigorously. I'll work harder than anyone. That night, Chloe slept in the guest room. I lay in bed, tossing and turning. Taking her in, was it the right thing to do? I didn't know, but I knew that some things couldn't be measured in terms of right and wrong. The next day, I brought Chloe to the office. The moment Mark saw her, his face darkened. Ethan, are you insane? He pulled me aside. Why did you bring her here? She needs a job, I said. Needs a job. Mark's voice rose. Ethan, have you forgotten what she did to you? I haven't forgotten, I said. But she genuinely needs help right now. Help? Mark scoffed. Ethan, you're too soft. I'm telling you, a woman like that doesn't deserve your help. You can't say that, I said. She has nowhere else to go. Nowhere else to go. Mark said. She brought this on herself. When she was choosing Julian, did she ever think about this day? All right, that's enough. I cut him off. I've already made my decision. Fine, you've made your decision, Mark said, his face red with anger. Then let me tell you, if anything goes wrong, I'm not getting involved. Nothing will go wrong, I said. But it turned out I was wrong. I'm not getting involved. Nothing will go wrong, I said. But it turned out I was wrong. On her very first day at the company, Chloe caused a problem. She was on the phone with a client, and her attitude was so abrasive she nearly lost the deal. Miss Mason, what is this attitude? The client yelled through the phone. I have an agreed-upon contract with Mr. Cole. Who are you to say it needs to be changed? I just thought this clause was unfavorable to us. Chloe stammered. Unfavorable? The client roared. Then let me talk to Ethan Cole. I quickly took the phone. Mr. Peterson, my apologies. That was a mistake on our part. Ethan, what's going on over there? Mr. Peterson was still fuming. I've been doing business with you for a while now. Are you letting some rookie mess with my account? Mr. Peterson, I'm truly sorry, I said. How about this? We'll sign the contract with the original terms, and I'll give you an additional 10% discount. That's more like it. His tone softened. Ethan, I'm not trying to tell you how to run your business, but you need to be more careful about who you hire. Yes, you're right. It's my fault. After hanging up, I looked at Chloe. She was staring at the floor, looking like a child who had been caught doing something wrong. My office, I said. Ethan. Now, in my office, I sat in my chair while Chloe stood before me. Chloe, let me ask you, have you ever worked in sales before? No, she said in a small voice. But I can learn. Learning is fine, I said, but you don't get to practice on my clients. I know I was wrong. You know you were wrong? My voice rose. Do you have any idea how much that deal was worth? $500,000. You almost blew it. I am sorry. I sighed, my tone softening. Just be more careful next time. Ethan, I really didn't mean to, she said through her tears. I just wanted to help you, to prove that I could be useful. I know. I handed her a tissue. But you need to remember, this is a business, not a game. Every decision has to be made carefully. I'll remember, she nodded. All right, you can go, I said. This afternoon, shadow Maya. Watch how she communicates with clients. Okay. After she left, Mar pushed open the door. Well, what did I tell you? He said, a smug, I told you so expression on his face. It was just an accident, I said. An accident. Mark scoffed. Ethan, you're too naive. Chloe was a princess her whole life. She's never had to deal with this kind of pressure. Putting her in sales is just torturing her. Then what do you suggest I do? Let her go, Mark said. Do it now before it's too late. Otherwise, you're just asking for more trouble down the road. No, I shook my head. I gave her my word. You. Mark was so angry he was speechless. Fine. You just wait. Sooner or later, you're going to regret this. But over the next month, Chloe's performance was surprisingly good. She worked incredibly hard, shadowing Maya on client visits, taking notes, and preparing materials. She still made mistakes occasionally, but she was a world away from where she started. Mr. Cole, Miss Mason has made huge progress recently, Maya reported. She was very professional at the last meeting with Mr. Harrison. Really? I was surprised. Yes, Maya nodded. And she's very meticulous. The materials she prepares are always incredibly thorough. That's good, I said. Keep working with her. Will do. After work, Chloe came to find me. Ethan, thank you, she said. If it weren't for you, I don't know what I would have done. Don't thank me, I said. You've earned it through your own hard work. No, you're the one who gave me the chance, she said, looking at me, a light in her eyes. Ethan, I'm going to keep working hard. I won't let you down. Good. By the way, she said suddenly, there's been some progress with my father's case. What kind of progress? The police said they've recovered some of the money Julian scammed, she said. It's not much, but at least it can pay off some of the debt. That's great, I said. Yeah, she smiled. Ethan, I feel like things are finally starting to turn around. They are, I smiled back. They'll only get better. That night, I worked late. As I was leaving my office, I saw that Chloe was still there. Why haven't you left yet? I asked. I was waiting for you, she said. Let's get dinner together, as a thank you. That's not necessary, I said. It's late. You should get some rest. Just one meal, she pleaded. Ethan, just think of it as two old friends catching up. I hesitated for a moment. All right. We went to a small restaurant downstairs. We ordered a few dishes and sat across from each other. Ethan, you've lost weight, Chloe said. Have I? I touched my face. Probably just busy. You need to take care of yourself, she said. Don't work yourself into the ground like you used to. I will. Ethan, she said, suddenly putting down her chopsticks. Can I ask you a question? What is it? Do you still hate me? I paused, then shook my head. No, I don't. Really? Really? I said. What's past is past. Then, she bit her lip. Do you still love me? I fell silent. I didn't know how to answer that question. To say I loved her didn't feel quite right anymore. But to say I didn't, seeing her hurting still made my own heart ache. Chloe, some things aren't about love, I said. Between us. We can't go back. Why not? Her eyes turned red. Ethan, I know I did a lot of things wrong, but I've really changed. Can't you just give me one more chance? It's not about chances, I said. We're just not right for each other. How are we not right? She pressed. Ethan, tell me, I can change. Chloe. I know, she said suddenly. It's because of Maya, isn't it? What? You like Maya, she said. I can see it. The way you look at her is different. You're imagining things, I said. Maya and I are just colleagues. Really? Really? Her eyes filled with hope. Then I still have a chance, right? Chloe. I know you still love me, she said, suddenly grabbing my hand. Ethan, let's start over, please. I pulled my hand away. No. Why? She started to cry. Ethan, I really do love you. I've been thinking so much lately, and I've realized I can't live without you. But I can live without you, I said. I'm sorry. I stood up, put some money on the table, and walked out. Behind me, I could hear Chloe's sobs. But I didn't look back. Some things you really can't go back to. 2 months later, the company landed its first major project, a $5 million order that I had negotiated alongside Mr. Harrison. Ethan, well done. Mr. Harrison clapped me on the shoulder. At this rate, we'll break $20 million in revenue by the end of the year. Thanks to your guidance, Mr. Harrison. Guidance? Nonsense, he laughed. This is all you. By the way, your commission on this project per the contract is $500,000. I'll have it wired to your account directly. Thank you, Mr. Harrison. $500,000. With my previous savings, I now had over $4 million. In this city, I was finally starting to feel like I'd made it. Ethan, at the celebration dinner tonight, you better be ready to drink, Mr. Harrison said. Absolutely. At the dinner, everyone was in high spirits. Maya came over with a glass of wine. Mr. Cole, a toast to you. Thank you. I clinked my glass against hers. Mr. Cole, can I ask you a question? Maya said suddenly. What is it? You and Miss Mason. What is your relationship? She asked tentatively. We're just colleagues, I said. Just colleagues? She didn't look convinced. But the way you look at her. Maya, I interrupted her gently. Some things aren't what they seem. I'm sorry, Mr. Cole, she blushed. I shouldn't have pride. It's fine, I smiled. Go mingle with the others. After she left, Mark sidled up to me. So? Maya's great, right? She's nice. Nice. Mark was indignant. Ethan, I handpicked her for you. She's beautiful, has a great personality, and she's a hard worker. What more could you want? I didn't say there was anything wrong with her. Then why don't you ask her out? Mark said, it's time for you to start a new life. I'm fine as I am. Fine. Mark snorted. Ethan, are you still thinking about Chloe? No. Then why are you keeping her at the company? Mark said, Ethan, let me be honest with you. Chloe might be doing well at work, but she's having a huge effect on you. What effect? You haven't noticed? He said. Since she started, you've been working even later hours, taking on even more client dinners. You're running away from her. I was silent. Ethan, take my advice, Mark said. Let go of what needs to be let go. Don't let your past ruin your future. I know, I said, but knowing and doing were two different things. After the dinner, I drove Chloe home. She was now renting a small studio apartment in a rougher part of the city. Thank you, she said before getting out of the car. You're welcome. Ethan, she turned back suddenly. Can I ask you one more question? What? Why are you helping me? She looked at me. Is it because you still love me? Or is it because you pity me? I thought for a moment. Neither. Then why? Because... I paused. Because I can't stand to see you in a bad place. Isn't that love? She said with a sad smile. No, it's not, I said. It's compassion. Is there a difference? There is, I said. Love means wanting to be with you. Compassion means not wanting to see you suffer. Then, will you ever be with me again? I shook my head. No. Why? Tears welled up in her eyes. Ethan, I've really changed. I don't want anything now. I just want to be with you. Chloe, some things can't go back to the way they were just because you've changed, I said. The trust between us is broken. Then what do I have to do for you to trust me again? I don't know, I said. Maybe time will give us the answer. Then I'll wait, she said, wiping her tears. Ethan, I'll wait. Even if it takes a lifetime, I'll wait. I didn't say anything. Watching her walk into that dilapidated building, my heart felt heavy. The once proud princess, now living in a place like this. The once arrogant Chloe Mason, now humbling herself just to get by. Was I being cruel? Maybe, but I didn't regret it. Some wounds you can never truly forgive.